Sports Talk with the Cowboy.
Welcome and thanks for riding with the Cowboy. We had a terrible defeat Sunday at the hands of the Denver Broncos, 26-7 at Raymond James Stadium, and a terrible exhibition of football by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They were beaten at every facet of the game: defense, offense, special teams, coaching, the whole works. Absolutely terribly beaten by a team at 0-2 that should have came in there and been beaten by us when we were 2-0. The terrible, terrible display of football, a terrible play calling by our offensive coordinator. Absolutely terrible. Liam Cohen did not call a good game as far as offensive coordination was concerned. Our offensive line did not block well. And not only our right tackle that was taken over for Luke Genneke, but the whole line. Our first-round pick, Graham Burton, was terrible. Clifton Worth, we paid all that money out of the left tackle. Let's not leave him out of the game. He was terrible. But both Breedson and Cody Monk were terrible. The whole offensive line of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were absolutely terrible. They allowed Denver to get in there behind that line all day long and harass Baker Mayfield. We were beaten 26-7 by an 0-2 team. Could have been 3-0 after the victory on Sunday. It was a terrible defeat. The defense was terrible. Yaya Diambi didn't do anything. We had JTS, Jotron Sharenko, which is a terrible pick and terrible player, made one good tackle. Our linebackers weren't there. Our secondary was not there. We just looked terrible. We got beat 26-7. That should tell you. I really don't do it justice to tell you how bad we looked, because we looked that bad. We looked bad. We were out-coached. We were outplayed. We were out-physicality. We started out slow in the first half. We started out slow in the second half. We got a little momentum going in the second half with the pass to Cade Otton, our tight end. He fumbled the ball. Denver got it and ran down the field. So it was just a terrible exhibition of football. Very, very, very telling, because if you've noticed last year, I don't want to go back to last year, but you want to go and see Todd Bowles' teams. When they were beaten, they just didn't look like they were there. This is a team that didn't look like they was there. They didn't look like they were in their mind, in their body, in their planning, or any other aspect of that game. And you can't put it on one player. You can put it on everybody in that organization. It's a terrible loss. We'll have to get ready to go after the Philadelphia Eagles this Sunday at Raymond James Stadium. They won't be forgetting that we beat them in the playoffs last year at that same stadium. They're not going to feel sorry for us when they go in there and kick our teeth in. If we don't play any better than we played last week, that's just what's going to happen to us. And God forbid somebody gets hurt, because that offensive line was offensive this Sunday. We got to do a better job all the way across the board. We got to do better rushing the passer. We've got to do better tackling. We got to do better playing an offensive line, running, catching, and having a plan and knowing what to do to let a team that with a rookie quarterback, Bo Nix, get his first win on us at home in Tampa. Terrible game. Going to have to write it off and know that next is another game, another week this Sunday, going out against the Eagles, and show some concerted effort. Don't let this become a pattern. We don't want it to start becoming a pattern, because it's going to be real quick and early to see, early in the game. You can see if it's gone bad. You can see it within the first few minutes of the first quarter if they're there to play or they're not to. We know they can, but we got to know whether they're going to be there to play that day. And that's kind of scary, but that's where we're at. So here at Sports Talk with the Cowboy, we're going to keep it real with you. And we're going to tell you that on a grading scale, that was a failure with a big F for Sunday's game. And we hope we can move that up off that F this week against the Eagles. And we better bring our A game to beat the Philadelphia Eagles, which will get our ship back into where it needs to be and put us at 3-1. So we'll keep you posted on what goes on in that game on Sunday. And as far as other football games, there were plenty of them, plenty of upsets. Carolina beat the Raiders, which was the first win for that Carolina team. Saints got beat this week by the Philadelphia Eagles, who we're playing this week, and the Saints have been on a good run. The Minnesota Vikings continue to win. They won their game. Atlanta barely lost to Kansas City, but what is barely? It's a loss, it's a win. They lost, but Atlanta played a good game against Kansas City and lost. So there's a lot of good games going out there. We're still early in the season. This is only week 4. Got a lot of time, but we got to get on there and play and have a better game for our team. But a lot of good action this week, and there'll be a lot of good action coming this weekend. We'll go to college football. USF got beaten this weekend badly by Miami. They came in here to the Raymond James Stadium and beat them handily. Alabama won, Georgia won, Texas won, the big ones won. Of course, Alabama and Georgia play this week, so one of those has got to lose. Some of the other teams are going to play, hopefully, their conference schedules and start playing somebody with competition instead of beating up on the littler colleges and considering that a win. They're going to have to play actual teams that have some characteristics similar to theirs. And so we'll see what happens this week in college football, but the main players at the top 10 are still the same main players that was there the week before. Nobody was seriously beaten by anybody in the top 10. And we've got some key matchups this week, at the Georgia-Alabama game being one of them. We'll keep you posted on next week on the college football. Now we're going to go to Major League Baseball. We got 4 games to go tonight. Tampa Bay was going to be playing the Detroit Tigers in Detroit. Littell, our pitcher, was on the mound tonight. I think we have 4 more games after tonight, and the season will be over. Mathematically, if we win every game and a few other teams lose, we could sneak into the playoffs. But again, we said here at Sports Talk the Cowboy, we don't believe it's going to happen. We need some offensive hitters. We seem to have plenty of pitchers, but we need hitting. We need it now. We needed it before spring training last year. We needed it at the trade deadline when we got rid of a lot of good players, and we needed it now at the end of the season. So for Stu Stuberg and the owners of the Tampa Bay Rays, listen to this, Eric Neander, the general manager. You need offensive players that can hit the baseball. You need them, and you need 2 or 3 of them, and you need them for next year. Don't be bringing them out of Durham, AAA, AA, single A. I don't want to hear about it. Go out and get somebody that's a proven veteran, put him on the team, keep him on the team, let him hit the round baseball on a regular basis, and let him bat over 300. Put your 2 of them on there and leave the team you got out in place. Bring your pitchers back, and maybe you'll make a run next year. But it won't be this year, but Ray fans. And God bless you. God bless you for following the Rays this year. Even though they're going to be close to 500, they have been in the playoffs 4 of the last 5 years, so we got to give them a little due. And they got a stadium, so we're going to have them around for about 50 years. And that was their victory this year for the community, that we're going to have them around for about 50 years with a new stadium. So that's going to end it with the Rays. By next week, our season will be over. So if you want to watch the game, tune it in tonight against the Detroit Tigers. I think it starts about 7 p.m. Eastern time. You got a few more to watch. Before the end of the weekend, though, we'll be done with this year's season. As far as the Tampa Bay Lightning, they get on the ice in a week at Amalie Arena. They got workouts over there now, but actually training camp itself will start right early after the first part of October, which is in about a week, and we'll get you posted on what goes on with their training camp. But it is training camp. Season will not be starting for a few more weeks. And now we're going to go to NASCAR, and NASCAR's race this week. It was a tough race. Joey Logano took the race, but it was a tough race. And we've got a big one coming up this weekend. Last weekend at Watkins Glen. Last week at Bristol. This week at Watkins Glen. We'll see how it does on these road course racers that have a little bit more road course experience. And maybe at Watkins Glen we'll see a new winner in the playoff round and cut that cutoff round and go to 12 instead of the 16 they have now. And then they'll cut to 8. Then they'll cut to 4. Then there'll be 4 drivers that last race at Phoenix, and we'll see who wins the championship. So that's all about going on in NASCAR, and we're going to go to your questions now. And the first question from Beverly, and Beverly wanted to know how long Luke Genneke will be out. And Beverly, I think Luke Genneke will be back this week. I think he will be, has a concussion protocol. That's why he was out of the game last week. And Beverly, they look really decombobulated. I think he'll be here. As a matter of fact, I heard he was not on the injury report this afternoon, which is Wednesday. Mandatory NFL has to give that report out of who's playing, who's hurt. His name wasn't on there being hurt with the concussion protocol. So I think he's going to be suiting up Sunday. Beverly, God bless you, and thanks for your question. The next question is from Albert, and Albert wanted to know why that Bucky Irvin wasn't the starting running back instead of Rashad White. And Albert, I think Bucky Irvin will be the starting running back and will get more carries as the season goes on. He's gotten a lot of carries first game, second game, and last week, and he's just a better, faster, quicker to the whole back. I think Rashad White will have his part of the offense, but if you want to say who the number 1 back is, we all know who it is right now, and we can see it. We've seen it with our own eyes. We don't need anybody to tell us. Bucky Irvin is the number 1 back on the team. Here at Sports Talk the Cowboy, we believe that. Rashad White's a good back. He can be spelled. You need at least 2 good backs. You might need 3, and I think we have 3. And I hope that Bucky can break off some big runs against Philadelphia this week at Raymond James Stadium. God bless you, and thank you for your question. And the last question tonight is from Denise. And Denise, again, wanted to know who I thought would make it into the World Series this year. And Denise, I still think it's going to be the Houston Astros for the American League and the Philadelphia Phillies for the National League if Los Angeles don't knock out Philly. But I'm just going to go with Philly, and I'm going to go with Houston. We'll see how it works out. And God bless you for your question. DJX, what you got for me tonight?
Well, Cowboy, you know what it is. Let's get right off into it, buddy. All right. Offensive struggles. Were the Buccaneers able to overcome the slow start against the Denver Broncos, who held them at 7 points?
Absolutely not. They never did get off the ball. They never got their struggles under control. They never got nobody blocked. They never got anybody from harassing Baker Mayfield till he didn't know which direction to go.
Right. Quarterback performance. How did Baker Mayfield face in the game, particularly in terms of passing yards and touchdowns?
He got one touchdown to Chris Godwin, the only touchdown we got, and he tried to get passes off, but he couldn't get them off because they were all over him. And I mean all over him. They were all over him. They had the ears pinned back. The offensive line decombobulated, couldn't block nothing. Couldn't block out, block nothing. Period. It was terrible, terrible, terrible performance. Terrible. The man was in the jailbreak. We all know this in football here at Sports Chart. The man gets the ball, and they're already standing in his face. That's a jailbreak. They were jailbreaking the man all day long. He had no chance to develop anything. All he could do was try to run for his life. And he could have got hurt because it was a terrible, terrible exhibition. And then it wasn't one guy. They can say, oh, yeah, but they got the guy on the right tackle. He was a substitute. It don't matter. You got four of the guys there. They were trash. They were trash, trash. So, yeah, he didn't get nothing going. He couldn't get anything going.
Key play moments. Were there any crucial plays or drives that swung the momentum in favor of the Broncos, contributing to the Buccaneers' 26-7 loss?
Yes, the first drive when they went down there, when they got the ball, went the length of the field and scored on the Bucs, the first score, when they got that ball and went right down the field. Took them a little bit. They didn't just make one play. They methodically went down the field, pushed them back, scored a touchdown. That was a momentum mover because they punched the Bucs right in the mouth and said, now come get us. And the Bucs couldn't come get them. And finally, the Bucs at the end of the first half got a touchdown. Okay? But in the second half, when Baker Mayfield did get a few passes going and a little bit of rhythm going, he got a pass to K. Dot. He caught it.
Yeah.
They hit the ball, knocked it out, and picked it up and ran it the other way. Those were the momentum swings you're talking about right there.
Okay, there you go. That sounds about right. All right, defensive breakdown. How did the Buccaneers defense allow the Broncos to control the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, failing to record any sacks while allowing rookie quarterback Bo Nix to escape pressure?
They blocked for Bo Nix. They looked together as a group for Bo Nix. Bo Nix had more time than Baker Mayfield.
Okay.
Our offense and defensive line were out, physically muscled. They were beaten. They were beaten at the point of attack in every respect, in every way. They were terrible, and there's no other way to say it. They didn't look enthused to be there. They didn't look motivated by the coach to be there. And they were completely and totally destroyed by a lesser team at Raymond James Stadium. I mean, our defensive line was non-existent.
Right.
We had no sacks against Bo Nix. We had no pressures when Bo Nix was running around looking like a nut. We had Baker Mayfield running around there in a circle. It was terrible. And then you swap the other way around. We couldn't get to Bo Nix. Our defensive ends couldn't get to him. We couldn't get nothing on him. He could run the ball, throw the ball, have a time to get in his mind some rhythm. We never broke his rhythm. We never could get any on our side.
Right.
They beat us totally.
Right.
Totally.
Right. That's what I say about timing. You
Totally.
got it. Your quarterback got to be able to get in his chill zone.
No chill zone.
He got to be relaxed. He got to be able to get poised.
And every time he tried to do that, every time he tried to catch a little poise, bam, they was on him.
So Bo Nix, he was confident.
Never was out.
He was confident.
Never was out. Smelled the blood in the water.
Key player performance, and we're gonna end it here. Was the impact of Chris Godwin's performance on the game's outcome, and were there any notable moments or plays that stood out from the Buccaneers' star receiver?
Nobody but Chris Godwin. He caught the touchdown. He caught a few passes going down there. Wasn't a great day for him, but he only caught one touchdown, but he did catch one touchdown. Nobody else. No.
Right.
Nobody
All
else.
right. Well, that's what I got for you tonight, Cowboy.
Well, God bless you, DJX, and God bless each and every one of you for tuning in to the show. We'd like for you to send your questions in, your comments, we share with your friends, and lend a hand out, stick a hand out to those in need. They need a hand up, and we need more love than we do hate in this world. Till next show, God bless you, Cowboy out.
Have you ever had a dream that you want him to do you so much you could do anything?